mass murder in London, there could be 16 bodies. The Shergar kidnap trail moves to Northern Ireland. Good evening. The police in London are engaged in what could be Britain's biggest mass murder investigation involving up to 16 deaths.
I can't understand you. I ask you to start filming from the feet slowly up to the head. And you go sit, pan. Bloody hell, don't you ever watch movies? You must see thousands of movies. You must know what it's like. They're training chimpanzees at Cape Canaveral to operate a camera. Anybody can do it.
These are the home movies of a murderer.
Can you go back a bit? I mean, you're far too near.
A man who in the 1980s would be uncovered as the most prolific serial killer in British history.
And you ain't seen nothing yet.
For those that are familiar with British crime, then this psychopath will need no introduction. For those that aren't, then this is Dennis Nilsen. He was a serial killer. He was pure evil. And in today's short film, we will take a look at the two main properties that he lived in and killed his unsuspecting victims.
3 dismembered bodies have been found beneath a house at Cranley Gardens in Muswell Hill, North London, and police are now searching a house in Melrose Avenue in Cricklewood, where it's believed traces of another 13 bodies may be found. The 3 dismembered bodies already found were all of young men. 2 heads were found inside the house. One of the men's been identified as Stephen Neil Sinclair, who was 20 and of no fixed address. The police have arrested a former Scots policeman who has worked for the homeless.
Now in this video, we will not go into too much detail as to what happened to his victims. There are many videos here on YouTube where all that kind of detail can be found. Instead, we will look at where he lived during his reign of terror.
The search started here at a semi-detached house in North London's Bedsitland. A plumber had been called out to unblock the pipes after complaints about the smell. Inside he found what looked like meat, then overnight it vanished.
We rang the police from the house the next day after the mass had mysteriously disappeared from the manhole.
So on Tuesday night there was a lot of flesh, a lot of meat in the manhole. And when you went back on Wednesday morning, it had all gone?
Yeah, completely.
But later police found parts of the bodies of 2 or 3 men, and a man was taken away for questioning. The search then moved here to another house a few miles away in Cricklewood. From what they'd learned, the police started looking for up to 13 more bodies. Police have now sealed off the premises and cordoned off a large area of waste ground behind. They're going to start a more thorough examination tomorrow morning. The house has been standing empty for some time, and neighbours say had previously been used as an unofficial home for squatters and vagrants. Robin White, News at 10, North London.
So this is what Melrose Avenue in London looks like today. It has hardly changed at all. This was the address where Dennis Nilsen committed most of his killings, mostly that of young men and boys who he would pick up in bars and clubs. Number 23 Cranley Gardens had been split into flats and bedsits. This is the property that Nilsen was living in at the time of his arrest. It was also the property to which the plumber was called because of the blocked drains, blocked by various body parts. Just on the other side of that gate is the drain that was to be the beginning of the end for Dennis Nilsen.
Two colleagues and I walked up to the front door of the place in order to wait for him inside. We had no idea what we were going to find. We knew we had a killer, but we didn't know what he'd done. The first thing that caught me was the smell of decomposing flesh. I said to him, "I'm here because your drains were blocked with human remains." And he said, "Oh my God, how awful." And I just got a little bit closer to him, face to face, looked him straight in the eyes and said, don't mess me about. Where's the rest of the body? And he just paused momentarily and he said, in plastic bags in the other room.
On the 13th of November 1983, Dennis Nilsen was found guilty of murder and was sentenced to 25 years, which was changed later on to a full life term, which means he would never be released.